I've been talking a lot about Ghost in the Shell in my Facebook newsfeed for a few days now. That's because it reignited my interest for it. I first saw the anime in 1998, although it was released in 1995. But at that time, anime was harder to access. There were if I had to access to it, there were no subtitles, and yeah, there was no way to find it except from bootleg copies. I was living in Metro Manila at the time, and I had access to it. And I remember it was a very great anime. It was groundbreaking at that time because it was one of the first animes to incorporate CGI and traditional my cat and traditional cell animation. So that was a big thing. It was the first time I was seeing that, and plus the themes. In the late 90s themes, anime, I have to give credit to anime with this, was specifically big on self-awareness stuff. You had stuff like The Matrix. The Matrix was one of those big Hollywood films in the late 90s that was basically talking about self-awareness, and that movie itself was inspired by Ghost in the Shell. I don't remember reading where, but you can really tell there was a lot of elements in Ghost in the Shell that was borrowed by Matrix. Well, one of the very obvious ones there is the color theme, the green and black thing, and how the soul can get digitized. That's sort of what happened with the Matrix when they connect to the world. They sort of digitize themselves, and that was what Ghost in the Shell was talking about, and that was great. And so, fast forward to today, 2016, DreamWorks picked it up. Steven Spielberg picked it up back in 2008. And he has long since abandoned the project, so that could be a bad thing. That's not good news at all. Currently, DreamWorks is handling it with, I forgot the name of the director, but he was the one who made Snow White and the Huntsman. I remember that movie had very good CGI, but I didn't watch it. I only saw the trailer because the story. It didn't interest me. It was a typical big budget Hollywood film full of visuals and nothing else. It didn't interest me at all. So by that alone, that guy handling the franchise alone, the live action franchise of Ghost in the Shell, that's got me worried. And along with the actress they chose, Scarlett Johansson. I've been ranting about in Facebook and Scarlett. It was not even about her race. It was about that she's just the wrong choice for it. I want to go deep into it, but I've already said my piece on it enough. So instead, I'm going to stop there and not continue about my rants on Scarlett Johansson cast as Motoko Kusanagi. But instead, I want to talk about the influence Ghost in the Shell had in my life. Well, Ghost in the Shell was a perfect time for me because I was 18 then, and I was looking for an identity, and I had a lot of questions in my life. It's basically about who I was and how I fit into this world and what makes me me. Basically, things that were tackled in Ghost in the Shell.
There are countless ingredients that make up the human body and mind, like all the components that make up me as an individual with my own personality. Sure, I have a face and voice to distinguish myself from others, but my thoughts and memories are unique only to me, and I carry a sense of my own destiny. Each of those things are just a small part of it. I collect information to use in my own way. All of that blends to create a mixture that forms me and gives rise to my conscience. I feel confined, only free to expand myself within boundaries.
So, one of the aspects that Ghost in the Shell influenced me was my taste in aesthetics. I never knew it until now, but while I was reviewing the film, I got to notice a bit of the a bit of the fashion the people wearing, the clothes they were wearing in the anime. It was supposed to be dated 2029, but you can tell it had a very 90s views of the future there. Like the way the Jetsons had the 60s view of the future there with the flying cars and the dome houses. Ghost in the Shell also had that, and it had the cyberpunk theme going on. It was not as crazy as Mad Max or Steam Engine or stuff like that, but it was very good. It influenced me. I was never really conscious about it, but I grew up with it. It actually still defines my taste for aesthetics and the clothes I wear now. Like, I'm gonna show it to you. Well, this one, I was so attracted to it when Oakley released it. I didn't know why. I knew that it was a steampunk thing, and well, a lot of people call it a Halloween costume, but yeah, you can say it's a Halloween costume, but I was really into it, you know. And well, if you Ghost in the Shell characters are guilty to be wearing this, specifically Bateau, not exactly this, but well, the concept's there, like circle, small sunglasses or something. Yeah. So Ghost in the Shell became this big series. I never got to check the rest, especially the standalone complex. I never got to check it. I tried watching it, but the translation that time was horrible, so I didn't pursue it. And plus, I sort of felt it got out of its original essence from the first 1998 film, because that for me was the essence of Ghost in the Shell. And yeah, it got a bit commercialized because people were starting to focus on the action and the spider tank thing, which was great, by the way. The spider tank is great. I'm not ranting on that. I hope that it's gonna reignite your interest in Ghost in the Shell, and it would convince you to check out, to buy copies, to if you can find it in Amazon or bootleg, or your friends selling their old copies. I hope you can find it. And speaking of that, while doing this vlog, I was researching on old Ghost in the Shell stuff, and I discovered its soundtrack, and man, I have to recommend that you check out the soundtrack. Yeah, I've been going long enough. this vlog is sort of an experiment anyway, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm really hoping that you'd still be here for my next ones, because I plan to do more of these. Thank you and have a nice day.
After dark, kick it silver funk. Best stay clear. I hope it's not too bright.